That's the traditional way that most cases get there. However, there are two other ways that it can get there. The grand jury can, on its own accord, reach out and grab a case. The grand jury is open to any citizen who wants to come and appear. Now, the grand jury has to agree to hear the case, but the grand jury can go out and they can do what's called a presentment and have the case by themselves without anybody else's input. And then lastly, they can go out and create or call a special investigative or special grand jury to take up an issue or a series of issues and determine whether or not anything ought to come out of it. But that's traditionally, there are three ways, and that's pretty standard across most of the United States.
Right. When a district attorney goes before a grand jury, that process, how long does that normally take on an average? Because you always hear the expression, well, you can indict a ham sandwich.
Right.
I mean, is it that easy, really? I mean,
my experience has been no, that it's not. And there may have been a time when that was true. But I think you have several sort of dynamics going on that have changed that. Number one, people are typically and generally more skeptical of law enforcement, the DA, folks like that, than they were years ago. There have been enough movies and enough, frankly, unfortunately, real-life incidents that have created, I won't say distrust, but certainly skepticism with the public. The people that I know that have sat on our grand juries have been very clear-thinking, very independently minded people, and I think they do yeoman service. I don't think that they come in looking to just do whatever we say. The grand jury is an independent body with an independent and exercising independent jurisdiction. It is not a function of the DA's office or of law enforcement. And so when you hear things like the DA can indict a ham sandwich, in reality what that means is that we have the ability to call witnesses in front of a grand jury. And if you present proof in a particular way, you can make something look like anything. Something that I think is a great misconception about the grand jury is that DAs do not come in and advocate one way or the other. In fact, it is unethical for us to come in and, it's particularly in Tennessee, to come in and ask the grand jury to vote a certain way or to tell the grand jury to vote a certain way. We are merely the legal advisor to the grand jury. We cannot even enter the grand jury room without an invitation from them. We step out while the grand jury is deliberating. We are not in there. We don't hear what they say. We don't hear why they do what they do. And then they report back what they have done. Right. You'll recall, I think, back a couple of years ago when the Times did their series on Steve Bibb, one of the things that somebody complained about in one of those was that an assistant DA had attempted to influence the grand jury. DAs take very seriously their obligations. I'm one of 31 from across the state, and we've been certainly post-Ferguson and post-Staten Island, we've been very seriously examining what we do and how we do it, and recognizing that there's going to be a new level of scrutiny on all of us. But when it comes to the grand jury, I think every DA that I am serving with currently, and certainly the people in my office, go in there with the idea we're going to present this to the grand jury. We may believe it's a good case, but ultimately, I mean, we've had cases no billed, which means that they didn't issue an indictment on cases that we felt very strongly about. And then we've had cases that we did not bring before the grand jury that came on a private prosecutor that we thought this is not a case we can prosecute, that they have indicted. And so we are very much we very much serve at the pleasure and in conjunction with them, but we certainly don't try to influence them in any way.
Yeah. In the case of Ferguson, you had a district attorney that basically said, I'm just going to give you guys everything. Mm-hmm. This is just yours. Right. I'm going to back off whatever you want, you got. And from all I understand, that's a very unusual way of doing this process.
It is unusual from the standpoint that normally grand juries do not take the length of time on a state case anyway. But federal grand juries many times can hear witnesses for months or years, particularly in an organized crime scenario. You may hear that they may hear testimony over a period of years. If there's public corruption, then you may also hear that. In this case, I think what the DA was doing there was not trying to appear to influence the situation one way or the other. I think he recognized the very significant legal difficulties that existed in prosecuting Darren Wilson. I think he shared the community's remorse that someone died. We had an officer-involved shooting here in Cleveland about 2 weeks ago, where a fellow was killed, and it was, we called the TBI in, even though at first blush it appeared very much like a justified shooting. We still call TBI in. They will do an investigation. Ultimately, we will present that to the grand jury. Not because we believe somebody did something wrong necessarily, but the grand jury serves as the conscience of the community. The grand jury should be a body that hears matters like that and then makes its own independent determination. And I think what this prosecutor was doing was not wanting to bias that jury simply by saying, I'm going to give you the witnesses that support my view of things. And that is a way that we can influence the grand jury. And that would also not be correct if we did that. The grand jury can hear from defendants if they want.
It's 2 minutes before the hour of 8 o'clock. General Steve Crump, our District Attorney General, is our guest here in the studio this morning. Also, Mr. Brian Graves from the Cleveland Daily Banner. I'll take a little break here and give General Crump a rest just for a minute. And I'm going to play a song. This would be my favorite song off the album from Steve Crump and the Schmucks. Right here, we'll go with number 1, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are incredible, and I love playing them on the show. We'll be right back with General Steve Crump.
God is good, yes He is. He's good all the time. God is good, you know He is. He's good all the time. You can search the whole world over, no greater friend you'll find. He's not good just once in a while, He's good all the time. God is good, yes He is. He's good all the time. God is good, you know He is. He's good all the time. You can search the whole world over, no greater friend you'll find. He's not good just once in a while, He's good all the time. Well, we've all had friends who've let us down. You know what I'm talking about. Is at the very first sign of trouble, they're nowhere to be found. Well, Jesus stays when others go. He'll never leave your side. He's your friend in stormy weather, 'cause He's good all the time. God is good, yes He is. He's good all the time. God is good, you know He is. He's good all the time. You can search the whole world over, no greater friend you'll find. He's not good just once in a while, He's good all the time. Well, He's the one you call in the middle of the night when your body moans with pain. Don't worry about that wayward child, 'cause He's heard you call His name. He'll put food in your kitchen when you don't have a dime. He's not good just now and then, He's good all the time. God is good, yes He is. He's good all the time. God is good, you know He is. He's good all the time. You can search the whole
Cleveland Mayor Tom Rowland. On behalf of our First Lady, Sandra, and I, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a most prosperous Happy New Year.
All right, it's 4 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. General Steve Crump is our guest this morning. He's here in the studio. And lo and behold, who walks through the front door while we're trying to do an interview here from Bradley County's only locally owned bank, the Vice President, my good friend, Christy Griffith. Good morning, Christy.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
We have 75 names that have been either called in or texted in. We're giving away $100 cold hard cash at 8:15 this morning, and we'll take a few more calls. We'll try and do that off the air. Dr. J's got the phone. Here, we'll take that one on the air. You're live on Whoop.
You know who this is, Mark?
Hey, Brett. Hey, Brett, say hi to General Crump.
How you doing, General Crump?
How are you, Brett?
Good.
Hey, Brett needs to be indicted by the grand jury for something. I'm not sure what.
No, he doesn't.
If there's one person in this county I'm pretty sure doesn't need to be, it's Brett.
How are you, Brett?
Good.
Good to talk to you. You going to have a Merry Christmas?
Yes.
All right, buddy. You got anything going on this weekend?
I have a basketball game tonight.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Who's playing?
It's the crosstown rivalry, Cleveland High School and Bradley.
Hey, do you want me to put your name in the drawing for $100?
Yes.
All right, you got it.
Yeah. Hey, I was going to let everybody know it's not going to be at Lee University. It's going to be at Cleveland Middle.
Not at Lee University, but it'll be at Cleveland Middle.
Yeah.
All right, that'll be fine.
Lee University, Mark, is overbooked. It was overbooked.
I'll be darned.
Yeah. Let everybody know, come out or get there early.
All right, my friend.
All right.
I'll talk to you.
I'm listening. All
right.
At 8:15.
Merry Christmas.
All right.
My good buddy Brett Whitehead right there.
Hey, just a little shout-out to my daughter, Sarah Beth Crump, who will be starting tonight for the Lady Raiders against the Bearettes. So we're excited about that. This is her senior year and her last home Bradley, although it's home away from home sort of, Bradley Cleveland game. And so real proud of her and real excited. And my youngest daughter, Emily, will be cheering. This will be her first Bradley Cleveland basketball game to chair as a freshman. So
family event.
Absolutely.
General Steve Crump in the studio here with us. I'm honored to have him here, and he looks absolutely incredible. I got a bromance going with him this morning. He looks so good.
Well, he looks better than you. What have you got on? You've got on a sweatshirt and then a sport jacket?
Well, let me explain something to you here. I've kind of got a mixed outfit on.
You do.
I have a funeral this afternoon.
And you're worried you're going to spill coffee on your white shirt. I know what that is.
No, you don't know what it is.
Okay,
well,
go ahead.
It was freezing cold when I left the house at 5 o'clock this morning. It was
I think you tried to look like Steve and put a vest on, but it didn't quite work out like Steve's did.
Darn it.
Did you know that Christy's my landlord now?
No,
Cleveland's
I didn't know that.
only locally owned bank is
Bradley
now my
County's
landlord.
only
That's
locally
right.
owned bank.
That's exactly right. She is my landlord. And if you have not seen their new mortgage offices downtown, they are beautiful.
We moved yesterday.
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm finishing up today, yes.
Congratulations to the Bank of Cleveland. By the way, a big shout out to Michelle Marshall, who every year at Christmas decorates the Bank of Cleveland and does an incredible job over there. So
Yes, she does.
I doubt she's listening. She usually listens to Heartline over there at 104.1 or something. By the way, you invoked the name of the Chattanooga Times earlier this morning in an article they did. If you mention the Times one more time in the studio, I will throw you out personally.
Okay.
I'm just, who am I to be saying that to the Attorney General? I could get thrown out of here myself. So,
That's all right. I've been thrown out of better places.
7 minutes after the hour of 8, during that song by Steve Crump and the Schmucks, I was just curious about this, and maybe some of our listeners are, and I want to ask you on the air. The members of the grand jury, are their names public, and who appoints the members of the grand jury?
No, the members of the grand jury are not public. The foreman is, our local foreman is Alvin Word here in Bradley County. Each county has their own, but the grand jury members themselves are not public. They are drawn randomly in a double-blind draw out of the jury pool each year. grand jurors serve a term of a year. And at the beginning, we just impaneled our new ones for next year, and they're chosen first at random out of a number of different things: driver's license, who's registered to vote, that sort of thing, into one huge panel, and then out of that, they're in a double blind. They're picked out to serve on the grand jury. But
so Mark could be on it; we wouldn't even know it.
Yes, which is
Are
I'm
you
not
on it,
sure
Mark?
about that.
They told me not to tell. By the way, Dr. J put down Anna Myers. She sent me a text this morning. She'd like to enter the drawing. And also, Bishop Bullitt sent me a text. That means he still loves me, doesn't it? Paul Goins. We got Robert Goins, and I put Paul Goins.
Are you giving out your personal cell phone number over the air for people to text you their names?
I did, and hopefully someone 45, single, blonde.
I'm surprised your age limit's that high.
If I didn't love you so much. 715-7465 if you want to send me a text and enter your name, or you can call us at 614-5553. General Crump is going to be doing the drawing here at about 8:15. And next week I want to give away $200, $100 from Grissom Serenity Funeral Home, and then I'll see if the Bank of Cleveland will throw in the other $100. It's because I give them all this free advertisement on Whoop Radio. Everything got quiet over there now, didn't it?
Surprise.
It's crickets over here.
General Steve Crump is our guest this morning, and as I said earlier, I have a lot of respect for him, and he's doing a great job, and he just looks fantastic this morning.
What is going on with you?
I don't know. I want to get my picture made with him before he leaves, though.
Y'all have a date. Have you asked him out for Saturday night yet?
Yes.
I'll be at the First Baptist Christmas program on Saturday
I bet
night.
Mark will be there to see you.
I'll be there I'll be there on the front row, Steve. I'll be the one waving at you
He'll have a sign,
during the
a
music.
groupie sign.
You're live on Whoop Radio.
Hey, I want to put my name in for the drawing.
You want to put your name in for the drawing or for the grand jury indictment? We're giving away two things this morning.
No, I got enough trouble as it is.
Who is this?
Sheila Evans.
Sheila Evans. All right, I got you down. Merry Christmas to you, Sheila.
Same to you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
10 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. All right, Mr. Graves, go ahead. I know you have more questions for the general.
Great segue from that into serious questions. Thank you, Mark. Now, in the case of Ferguson, tell me, what is your overview of that situation? What do you take out of that?
Well, I think it's the same one that anybody in law enforcement should take, which is that we live in a country now that is in many ways divided, and who are distrustful of every aspect of their government. I mean, take, for example, the criticism of this grand jury. The grand jury is made up of citizens that live in Ferguson, Missouri, a town of 21,000 people. Small town, the size of Athens, size of Sweetwater. I mean, a town like that is the same as a Ferguson, Missouri. People that live next door, people that all live in the same community. And we live in a time where people are very distrustful and skeptical of every part of our grand jury or every part of our government. I heard somebody saying that we had to reform the grand jury system. I've seen several commentators talk about that, and I don't think people have an appreciation for the level of protection that a grand jury affords someone. Those are your neighbors, and if something is amiss, they are going to certainly not want you to be unjustly indicted. And my experience with grand juries has been that they are extremely caring and thoughtful about what they do. They don't come in it as cowboys wanting to kick down doors and carry guns and be law enforcement. They come in it really as a gateway between the people and government, a shield, if you will. And in fact, that's what I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. I think it's important to note that grand jury had actually been impaneled long before that case came to them.
Yes.
In the 10th district, and in particular in Bradley County, of course, the African American community here. What is your sense? Are their relationships with law enforcement better, the same? Are tensions higher now? What is your?
I think I think that by and large there's a good relationship. I think that it is certainly not because African Americans, Caucasians, Hispanics, everyone that is not a criminal that lives here wants good law enforcement. They want safe streets. They want those things, and I don't think there's disagreement there. I think that there still are those who would be distrustful within the African American community and be critical of law enforcement. I think that's part of the fabric of American culture right now. But I feel like I can tell you that my office does not look at color. We don't care what color you are. If you're a victim, if you're African American or you're white or you're whatever you are, we're going to do our best to see that your case is handled properly. And if you're white, we're not going to excuse you because you're white. If you're black, if you're an African American, we're not going to treat you differently or more harshly because you are. And I don't have a good sense. My children go to Cleveland High School, and at Cleveland High School, I believe that race relations are very good. I see those kids interact. I mean, I watch those kids, particularly in the basketball team, interact. And there's no white or black on that basketball team. There's no us or them. And frankly, we probably as adults could use that model a lot more in a lot more different situations just related to race. But I don't see but that being, while I don't see that problem, please understand that a Ferguson could happen here. Because it's not related to dissatisfaction by some segment of the community. If people feel that something is unjust, regardless of what the race or anything else is, you could have a Ferguson type situation.
Really?
I think so. I mean, now, would we have the riots and all that? I don't know. But could we have a scenario where a segment of our population, whether it's African American or not, could feel like that there was something unjust? Certainly that could happen anywhere in the world. I can tell you that law enforcement around the state of Tennessee have been reevaluating how they would deal if there was a situation like in Ferguson with the riots and how we would handle it. And I'm certain that on a state level, the state authorities are too. I mean, I'm certain that the governor, the attorney general, and those folks in Nashville have been considering how they would react if there were a similar circumstance. Because unfortunately, across this country, there are law enforcement involved shootings somewhere every day. And all it takes is the wrong set of circumstances, and you have that same situation. I feel like our community is stronger. We have a number of African American officers. I'm fortunate to have a very good prosecutor that's an African American, who is my team leader here in the South, on the South team, which is Drew Robinson. Great experience. He and I dealt with a very sensitive issue yesterday, and I have great respect for him. And I think the folks that live in this community, and the African American community in particular, can be proud of what he does. And I think he will tell them that we don't look at color. And then Debbie Macon, who is my victim witness coordinator, is another one of my leadership team is African American. And I want the best people, and I think law enforcement around here want the best people, and I don't think they care if they're white or African American or Hispanic. In fact, I would love to have a Hispanic prosecutor. I would love to have somebody on my staff that's Hispanic, so that I have a connection to that community that I can't necessarily have. Right. And I think law enforcement feels the same way. Government should reflect the population, and that's one of the criticisms of Ferguson, that there were all these number of officers that were white and a very small minority that were African American. I think a more important question there is how many African Americans applied, and were they turned down for a reason when they were just as qualified? I think to me that's a more pertinent discussion than how many there are, because in a town of 21,000, how do you know? And so I think it's important that government reflects its population, that reflects its people in thought and in makeup.
Let me the Staten Island case we had in New York with the chokehold. it's very easy for someone to sit back and watch that videotape and make the assumption maybe there was excessive force. You, as a practiced district attorney that works with these kind of cases, is that fair for someone to sit back in their living room and watch that and make that judgment?
Well,
and not suggesting whether it was a correct one or wrong one.
No, I think it's always a fair inquiry when somebody dies and government is involved. Was it appropriate? Were the rules followed? I don't think there's anything wrong with questioning. I do that, even though in every circumstance, you want to be able to trust law enforcement. We can't approach it from that standpoint. And I don't think there's anything wrong with looking at that scenario and saying, hey, were the rules followed? Now, I think it's important to not just focus on the fact that somebody died. I think it's important, for example, related to whether or not this was racially motivated. The supervisor on the scene at Staten Island was an African-American. The sergeant, female sergeant, as I understand it, was African-American that was directing this group that was there. So I think it's important that you take that into account when you look at it. I also think it's important to recognize that the fella did not die there on the street. He was placed in an ambulance, and he suffered a cardiac arrest in the ambulance on his way to the hospital, and was actually pronounced dead about an hour after all this took place. So law enforcement has a difficult job. They can't just decide, well, this guy said he didn't want to go, and I'm not sure how big a deal this is, so I'm just going to let him go. That's anarchy. And if we take that approach, then what happens is the thugs and the bullies and the people who are the worst in our society become our government, and we can't have that.
Speaking of thugs and bullies, I just got a text from Big Tony Walker from Chicago. He said it's past 8:15. Do the drawing already. Tony, there will be a grand jury indictment coming down on you today. All right, you ready? Dr. J, tell General Crump over here, give him the numbers to draw from, and then we'll go from there. We're getting ready to have the drawing for $100 cold hard cash. How many numbers you got? I would have thought he would have had this ready by now, but
I was intrigued so much by the generals there.
You're over there getting sermon material for Sunday morning. What you're doing, I know what you're doing.
Let's see if we have 84. I think that's right. 75, 84. Yeah. So if you'll pick a number between 1 and 84.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
So what this means is I'm going to make one voter happy, and 83 others I'm about to lose. This is great, Mark. Thanks. I really want to appreciate you.
You got 5.5 more years.
Getting me involved.
Yeah, we'll do this
7.5. 7.5. Don't shorten me.
Oh well.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
let's see. I am 48 years old, so let's say 48.
Okay.
Number 48. And the name is
from yesterday's call in, Stacy Guffey.
Stacy Guffey, you are the winner of $100 cold hard cash. You better get down here in the next 10 or 15 minutes, or I want to take it and go to the taco truck this afternoon. Another one of my favorite songs off of the album from Steve Crump and the Schmucks right here, My Lord and I. We'll be right back to wrap it up with General Steve Crump. Stacy Guffey, congratulations on winning $100.
Children, my Lord and I, we're gonna walk and tell the story. Children, my Lord and I, when I come to the river wide, the blessed Lord is gonna calm the tide. We're gonna walk this road to glory. Children, my Lord and I, yes, we're gonna walk this road to glory. Children, my Lord and I, we're gonna walk and tell the story. Children, my Lord and I, when I come to the river wide, the blessed Lord is gonna calm the tide. We're gonna walk this road to glory. Children, my Lord and I, yes, we're gonna walk this road to glory. Children, my Lord and I, we're gonna walk and tell the story. Children, my Lord and I, rain or shine, snow or sleet, blessed Lord, guide my feet. We're gonna walk this road to glory. Children, station and I get a full supply. Yes, we're gonna walk this road to glory, my Lord and I. We're gonna walk and talk all the way to glory. Gonna walk and tell the blessed old story. Walk and talk all the way to glory, my Lord and I. When I come to the river wide, the blessed Lord is gonna calm the tide. We're gonna walk this road to glory, my Lord and I. My Lord and I. Well, we're gonna walk and talk all the way to glory. Gonna walk and tell the blessed old story. Walk and talk all the way to glory, my Lord and I. When I come to the river wide, the blessed Lord is gonna calm the tide. We're gonna walk this road to glory, my Lord and I.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark in the Morning.
24 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. What's her name again? Stacy Guffey? Stacy Guffey, you're the winner of $100 cold hard cash. She called in yesterday morning and gave us her name, so you better hurry down here and pick up your money. General Steve Crump is our guest this morning, and I mean this with all my heart. I know you're a very busy man, and I've been trying for weeks to get you in here. And I appreciate you taking time to come in and be a part of the show.
No, it's my pleasure. I'm glad the schedule worked out so I could be here. And these are important issues. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on them.
Tell us what's going on, because I know you're a big part of it. What's going on at First Baptist Church this weekend, Steve?
Well, we're having our Christmas program, our annual Christmas program. It's called A Night of Hope. And this year we are doing a sort of a compilation of a number of different Christmas worship services that we have done in the past, and putting together some different things from those, and it's going to be really good. There are, I think, over 400 people involved in the worship service, and you'll have probably 175 voices in the choir. You'll have a youth choir of probably another 50 to 75. Dancers and an orchestra and a praise band, and it'll be it will definitely be worth the cost of attendance, which is zero.
Do you have a solo in the program?
I do.
When is that? Because I'll be on the front row.
Mark will have his camera with his zoom lens.
Actually, you'll have a couple of opportunities. One's at the beginning. Actually, 3 opportunities. One at the beginning, one at the end, and one in the middle. So you'll have to stick around for the whole thing.
All right, we're going to be doing a live remote here on Whoop Radio from First Baptist Church. Well, I know you're a big part of the music program over there, and they love you to death. So you got a great voice, by the way.
Thank you. I am always honored when I get the opportunity to share whatever God's gift is, and particularly to sing about a subject so special as a God who would step down from a throne and suffer and die for people who don't love Him, and a God who is always faithful to us even when we aren't faithful to Him. And so it's my honor to get to sing with these folks and to get to lead and to worship myself.
You're live on Whoop Radio.
Hey, Mark, Mike Bell, how are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Mike Bell live on the phone with us. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Been enjoying your conversation with General Crump, and when I heard you talking about the music program at First Baptist Church, I wanted to call in and say I don't know if we have the smartest DA in the state. Or the best
oh, he is the best looking DA. I'll say that.
Oh my gosh.
We've got the DA with the best voice in the state. Absolutely, Steve can really sing, and I know last year I made it to the Christmas program, and First Baptist Church does a great job with that, and I appreciate General Crump and all the work he does.
Well, Mike, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I hope you get to come back and participate and worship with us again this weekend. Certainly, I'm glad you were able to be there, And if I can get 1 out of 3, if I'm the best singing, if I'm not the smartest or best looking, I can get 1 out of 3. That's still a pretty good major league average, so I'll take it.
And I'd like to say this: I'm not sure we have the best-looking senator from the state of Tennessee, but as I know, shut up, I'm talking. As I know from the Whoopathon, the man sure knows how to cook dove breasts in the morning for breakfast. You will never live that one down, Senator.
No, I won't, Mark, and I'll see you Monday. I've got my son who's in the Air Force. He's home for Christmas, and my son-in-law, who's also in the Air Force, and my daughter, they're stationed in Minot, North Dakota, and they're home for Christmas and planning a big rabbit hunt Monday. And so we're gonna go out and see what other animals we can get for the table.
Senator Bell, thank you for calling. I wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'm very, very proud to call you my senator.
Well, thank you, Mark, and proud to know you, and really enjoy listening to you when I can. Of course, the Whoop signal, I have to come across the river into Bradley County before it picks up, but I enjoy listening to you when I can get down.
That's interesting. Most of the people have to sit in the parking lot at the Village Green out here. Have a Merry Christmas.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Senator Mike Bell, I appreciate him calling in this morning. Any closing thoughts from General Crump?
Well, I hope everybody has a joyous and peaceful Christmas and holiday season, and it's certainly been my honor and pleasure to serve you during these first 6 months. I look forward to doing it more. I encourage members of the community, if they have questions about anything that we're doing or about law enforcement, to talk to us. We want to avoid circumstances like Ferguson, and that begins with conversations, and particularly if there are those who believe that we're treating folks in a way that's not appropriate, we want to have that conversation as well. So Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and Mark, thank you so much for having us. Jay, it's always good to see you. Christy, my landlord with Bank of Cleveland, so glad to see you.
Bradley County's only locally owned bank, by the way.
That's right.
We're taking care of that little bug problem you have, too.
Yeah. We appreciate that.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much. And Brian/Ben, it's always good to see you.
Always.
General Crump has been our guest this morning. I can't say thank you enough. I know you're busy, and I appreciate you coming by. And
that's my pleasure.
Very Merry Christmas to you and your family, and keep me out of jail, will you, please?
I'll do my best. That's up to you.
It's time for us to get out of here. Dr. J, as always, appreciate you being here with me. I'll see you next Friday.
Okay.
Jay said it's all. Wait a minute. Hey, hang on a second. Stacy, is that you?
That is me.
We'll need to see some form of ID, please, ma'am. I'm kidding you.
I was hoping so.
Hey,
I left my pocketbook out.
when you got the district attorney general, I'm going to let Steve present this to you. And
You don't even have a $100 bill. You've got it in 20s.
And that's all the ATM at Bank of Cleveland puts out there. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Stacy, thank you. Merry Christmas to you.
I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Merry Christmas, Stacy.
Bye.
Stacy, it's Guffey, right?
Yes.
Stacy Guffey, congratulations to her. Brian, thanks for coming by this morning,
Glad
my
to do
friend.
it. Always a big kick to do this.
And by the way, my name is Mark Grissom for the story Sunday in the Banner.
And that's spelled Heartli.
Christy, I love you to death, and Merry Christmas to you.
I'll see you next Friday, probably.
All right.
I'll try to drop in on Friday.
If he's giving away $200, I'll be here next Friday.
100 from Grissom Serenity Funeral Home, and another 100 from Bradley County's only locally owned bank, the Bank of. Well,
Okay, I want to win their money.
We'll talk about that. You notice how she got up and left it? Have a great day, everybody. May God bless you. God bless Cleveland, Tennessee, and God bless America.
Well, just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy shall never end. I'll fly away, and now I'll fly away. Oh glory, I'll fly away. Good morning, will not die. Hallelujah, bye bye. I'll fly away.
Hope FM is a nonprofit community radio station that is made possible by generous donations by individuals and the following sponsors.
No dealers allowed.
Jackson Catnapper, family owned and operated in Cleveland since 1933, offering the best with over 70 styles of recliners, sofas, electronic lift chairs, full living room packages. Call Mike now at 961-7239 because Jackson Catnapper now offers sales to the public
every Saturday. That's right, every Saturday.
From 8 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. Or call Mike at 961-7239 or go see him
every Saturday
at 1911 King Edward Avenue, just across from the main plant. Jackson Catnapper, family owned and operated in Cleveland since 1933. 961-7239.
No dealers allowed.
Catfish are jumping. That old cotton is high. Your baby rich and your mammy good looking. Yes, now hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Spread out your wings and take to the sky. Until that day, baby, hush up your crying. 'Cause your mammy and pappy standing by. Summertime and living is easy. Catfish are jumping, that old cotton is high. Your baby's rich and your mammy good looking. Yes, now hush, little baby, don't you cry. Yes, now hush, little baby, don't you cry.
If you build it, he will come.
That voice just now, what was it?
If you build it, he will come.
Hey! Is this heaven? No. It's Iowa.
We're keeping this field.
You bet your butt we are.
City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. And on every street corner you hear silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. City street lights, even stoplights, blink a bright red and green as the shoppers rush home with their treasures. Hear the snow crunch, see the kids bunch. This is Santa's big scene. And above all this bustle you hear silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Soon it will be Christmas Day.
I was born to be wild, my brother.
The last word in lonesome is me. The last word in lonesome is me. My heart is as lonely as a heart can be lonely. The last word in lonesome is me. Too bad what's happened to our good love. Too bad what's happened to our good love. Sometimes our best isn't quite good enough, and the last word in lonesome is me. The last word in lonesome is me. The last word in lonesome is me. My heart is as lonely as a heart can be lonely. The last word in lonesome is me. My heart is as lonely as a heart can be lonely. The last word in lonesome is me.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Check into Cash. The cash you need is closer than you think.
Get an auto title loan today for up to $2,500 at Check Into Cash.
You drive home with the cash in your pocket.
Visit Check Into Cash for an auto title loan today, or get a payday advance for up to $425. Call toll-free 877-262-CASH. Title loan amount determined by value of car and ability to repay. Borrowers often use payday advances over a period of months, which can be expensive. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
Did you know that U.S. Money Shops cashes all checks, even the ones most check cashers reject? Tax refund checks, government checks, payroll checks, and many more. And when you cash a check with U.S. Money Shops, we'll give you 10% off your next purchase. At U.S. Money Shops, we have everything you need at a fraction of regular retail. So stop by one of our 11 locations or visit us online at usmoneyshops.com.
Buy or sell or apply today, the better way at U.S. Money Shops.
Some restrictions may apply. See store for details.
Download the new City app for information, discounts, and savings. And don't forget to sign up for tickets to the Athens Chamber of Commerce 9th Benefit Dinner, featuring Peyton Manning. Contest ends January 15, so don't wait. To download, search cleveland.mycityapp.mobi on your smartphone. That's cleveland.mycityapp.mobi. The app's free, so what do you have to lose? Download the app today at cleveland.mycityapp.mobi.
Hello, my name is Andy Figglestaller with Ed Jacobs & Associates. We are an employee benefit and insurance broker in business for the past 20 years. The new healthcare law, also known as Obamacare, has finally arrived. The law is complex and the choices are confusing. You have questions, we have the answers. It is our passion to find cost-effective solutions for every client. The solutions will be different for every person or business. Let our knowledge, experience, and passion go to work for you. Contact us today and let us assist you through this process. Our phone number is 423-473-0202, or you can find us on the web at edjacobs.com.
If you need a little green, Lending Frog is making deals. He'll lend you cash on any kind of wheels. Borrow just a little, or you can borrow big. Lending Frog is a new financial gig. It's hip to hop into cash. LendingFrog.com is making a splash. Dig it.
Wheeler Technologies has moved. Visit them at their new location at 490 Grove Avenue Southwest next to Bradley Rentals. Same great folks, same great service with a better location to serve you. Call Wheeler Technologies for voice, data, and security needs at 664-TECH. That's 664-8324. And remember, depend on Wheeler Technologies for the current time and temperature every day at 476-1111. Tennessee Alarm Contractor C1750.
Financial Recovery, licensed and bonded collection agency, located right here in Cleveland, Tennessee. Give them a call at 423-473-7670. Small town service with big city results. A full service medical, commercial, retail, and individual collection service. Celebrating 10 years in business. Call Financial Recovery at 423-473-7670 to help you with your accounts receivable and past due invoices. Financial Recovery, 423-473-7670.
Hey, here's something you might find a little funny. You know, at Easter time, we always get one of them old crazy chickens, and if one of them happened to live, they turn out to be a terror. You know, a great big, most of them was big white roosters, and they was crazy. And there was been some talk about some of these crazy roosters that they had out. Over in the Arnold area, they had one over there that was a terror. This guy, they called him Bok Bok. And children would look over into the yard and see him grazing. And the next thing you know, he done flew out of the yard and jumped on these children and got them on the ground and pecking them in the head. And they was frightened of Bok Bok. Bok Bok was a bad rooster.
Well, you darn right I know Martina McBride. I got her cell phone number right here. Look here.
The cellular customer you're calling is not answering her phone simply because she has caller ID. And she knows that it's you, Cletus T. Judd. Quit calling!
I'll try her later. You say I'm always talking when I should be driving, but everybody does it these days. You say I'm getting cancer every time I answer. Yeah, whatever you say. Wish I could change my service. Shoulda never signed up. Heck, it never works anyway. The signal's always breaking. I can't hear nothing. Hey, what'd you say? You can't hear me. There ain't no use in listening. I can't tell what you're saying. All I hear is hissing. Yeah, the more that I roam, the more I gotta pay. I'm on my cell phone. What the did you say? I ought to get a beeper. It'd be a whole lot cheaper. Just throw this cell phone in the lake.
Little Rosa was her name, and still I cry in vain. My world won't be the same since she's gone from me.
I had gone to visit the grave of a friend of mine, and as I walked through the graveyard, I noticed this man kneeling down by the grave of a child, and in his hand he held a big red rose, and tears were streaming down his cheeks. So I walked over and laid a hand on his shoulder and started to talk to him. And during the course of our conversation, and in his broken English, this is the story just as he told it to me. He said, "Mister, I'm a-walking down the street today, and I pass by a big flower shop. I walk in and I ask the man in the shop, I say, 'Boss, how much you for one the red rose?' And he looked at me with one big frown, and he says, 'I want $1, please.' But in a by, a swell-dressed blonde young lady walk in, and she says, 'How much you for one the red rose?' And he looked at her with one big smile, and he says, 10 cents. And I said, 'Boss, how come you charging me $1 for the rose? You charge the young lady only 10 cents. And he says, 'Look, mister, you're telling me why you want the rose, and maybe I'll give it to you for naught.' Then I said, 'Boss, I'm a hard-working man. Working the railroad and don't make too much money. And I got a little girl, and her name is Rosa. Oh, Rosa's just about this high, boss. Every day when I come home from work, a little Rosa come running to me to Papa. And she'd throw her little arms around my neck and say, 'Papa.' And I'd say, 'Rosa.' Oh, but one day, boss, I come home from work and I don't see Rosa. I look down by the railroad track and I see one of the bigger crowd. I go down and I push the crowd this way and I push the crowd that way, and there, boss, at my feet lay my little Rosa. And that's why I want the Rosa, boss. I'm going to put him on little Rosa's grave. The man, he don't say a lot, but he picked up the biggest and the reddest rose, and he give it to me. And I said, "Thank you, boss. Thank you very much." And though she's gone, you see, she's still the world to me. To me, she'll always be that little girl of mine.
I was strolling one day in a lonely churchyard when a voice from the tomb seemed to say, "Once we lived as you live, walked and talked as you talk, but from earth we were soon called away." Oh, those tombs, lonely tombs, seem to say that low, gentle tone. Oh, how sweet is the rest in that beautiful heavenly home. Then a voice from the tomb seemed to whisper and say, "Weary one, you must soon follow me. And I thought as I looked on that cold marble slab, what a dark, lonely place this must be. Oh, those tombs, lonely tombs, seem to say in a low, gentle tone, oh, how sweet is to rest in that beautiful heavenly home.
Reasons to quit. The smoke and booze don't do me like before, and I'm hardly ever sober. My old friends don't come around much anymore. Reasons to quit. The low is always lower than the high, and the reasons to quit don't outnumber all the reasons why. So we keep smoking and we keep drinking, having fun and never thinking, laughing at the price tag that we pay. And we keep roaring down the fast lane like two young men feeling no pain. And the reason for quitting's getting bigger each day. Reasons to quit. I can't afford the habit all the time. I need to be sober. I need to write some new songs that will rhyme. Reasons to quit. They have no rhyme or reason when you're high. And the reasons to quit don't outnumber all the reasons why. We keep smoking and we keep drinking, having fun, never thinking, and laughing at the price tag that we pay. And we keep roaring down the fast lane like two young men feeling no pain. And the reason for quitting's getting bigger each day. And the reason for quitting's getting bigger each day.
We'll all ride that boat divine. We'll all see his face divine. We'll all pass that gate divine. Ooh, there's room for everyone in heaven. Meet your mother on that shore divine. Take your brother to that door divine. Know your father on that day divine. Ooh, there's room for everyone in heaven. Don't matter what you think divine. Don't matter what you say divine. Don't matter who you blame divine. in heaven. We'll meet our brother, our mother, our father, sister, too. Everyone in Meet me up in heaven, brother. Everyone in heaven. I'm waiting for you up in heaven. Everyone in heaven. Come closer to heaven. We'll be with everyone in heaven divine.
Well, I never did know what they found Joe in these honky tonks until today when I went home and found her gone. Then my world came crashing down. Lord, what a nerve shaking sound. So bring me a bottle and play me some more sad, sad song. Oh, I've never felt like this, Joe, but all I've loved is gone. Now I'm soaking up my mind, and I'm hurting deep to my bones. So here I am like all the rest, just thinking of her and hoping the best. So fill it up again, Joe, and play me some more George Jones song. Well, I guess you've seen my kind in here, Joe, 1,000 times. So you'll know just what to do when I get stoned. Here's where I live and some money in case I should end up on my face. So fill it up again, Joe, and play me some more George Jones song. Oh, I've never felt like this, Joe, but all I've loved is gone. Now I'm soaking up my mind and hurting deep to my bones. So here I am like all the rest, thinking of her and hoping the best. So fill it up again, Joe, and play me some more George Jones song. So here I am like all the rest, just thinking of her and hoping the best. So fill it up again, Joe, and play me some more George Jones song.
Come, they told me, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. The newborn king to see, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. Our finest gifts we bring, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. To lay before the king, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. Ra-pa-pum-pum, ra-pa-pum-pum. So to honor him, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. When we come, baby Jesus, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. I am ba-ra-pa-pum-pum. I have no gift to bring, ba-ra-pa-pum-pum, to lay before the king, ba-ra-pa-pum-pum, ra-pa-pum-pum, ra-pa-pum. That's fit to give our king, ba-ra-pa-pum-pum, ra-pa-pum-pum, ra-pa-pum-pum. So to honor him, ba-ra-pa-pum-pum, I'll play my drum. Well, if I owned the world and all its treasures, from the mountainside to the rolling sea, still, darling, my prized possession will be the love you gave to me. Well, if I was a king of a mighty nation, and anything I touch or see, still, darling, my prized possession will be the love you gave to me. To lose your love would leave me cold. My heart would grow from young to old. I'd lose my faith in what I'd say. I'd know such grief I'd run away. For no other's kiss would have no meaning, and no other's love could ever be. 'Cause, darling, my prized possession will be the love you gave to me. To lose your love would leave me cold. My heart would grow from young to old. I'd lose my faith in what I'd say. I'd know such grief I'd run away. For no other's kiss would have no meaning, and no other's love could ever be. 'Cause, darling, my prized possession will be the love you gave to me. 'Cause, darling, my prized possession will be the love you gave to me. I could settle down and be doing fine when I hear that freight rolling down the line. Then I hurry straight home and pack, 'cause if I didn't go, I believe I'd blow my stack. I love you, baby, but you've gotta understand, when the Lord made me, He made a rambling man. Some folks might say that I'm no good and that I wouldn't settle down if I could. But when that open road starts calling me, there's something over the hill that I've got to see. Sometimes it's hard, but you've got to understand, when the Lord made me, He made a rambling man. I love to see the towns passing by, and to ride these rails beneath God's blue sky. Let me travel this land from the mountains to the sea, 'cause I believe that's the life that He meant for me. And when I'm gone and at my grave you stand, just say God's called home, you're rambling man.
Hey, you gonna eat that cornbread? If you don't want that cornbread, I'll be more than glad to eat it for you. I mean, no offense or nothing.
It's such a beautiful day that the sky seems to say good morning. Mister, dust off your shoes, throw away all your blues and start smiling. Take a good look around, there's no cloud looking down upon your way. So if you decide to come back alive, it's a new day. Sunday sunrise shining through my window pane, chasing away my cares with the pouring rain. Sunday sunrise unfolding like a smile, making me feel just like a newborn baby child. Well, I'm feeling so good, I keep knocking on wood, I'm not dreaming. I hear birds everywhere sing a song in the air with a meaning, saying it's time to wake up, get a whole new do. Come on out where it's warm, it won't do any harm if you want to. Sunday sunrise shining through my window pane, chasing away my cares with all the pouring rain. Sunday sunrise unfolding like a smile, making me feel just like a newborn baby child. It's such a beautiful day that the sky seems to say good morning. Mr. Dust off your shoes, throw away all your blues and start smiling. Take a good look around, there's no clouds looking down upon your way. So if you decide to come back alive, it's a new day.
I love you too, honey. Thank you all for coming.
Once I stood in the night with my head bowed low, in the darkness as black as the sea, and my heart was afraid, and I cried, oh Lord, don't hide your face from me. Hold my hand all the way, every hour of the day, from here to the grave. I may live in a palace so tall, with great riches to call my own, but I don't know a thing in this whole wide world that's worse than being alone. Hold my hand all the way, every hour of the day, from here to the grave. Take my hand, let me stand where no one stands alone.
On top of old Smoky, all covered with snow, I lost my true lover. I was courting still. I go into Georgia, there I'll write you my mind is to get married, and I leave behind on top of old Smoky, it's all covered with snow. Where I lost my true lovers, I was courting to snow. Back to old Smoky, old Smoky so high, where the wild birds and the turtle dove, they can hear my sad cry.
She kisses a stranger, turns out the light. Her husband's out of town, he won't be home tonight. The kids are at the neighbors, they're staying with their friends. Tonight she's gonna be another cheating wife again. The jukebox is playing, the neon lights are low. She sits at the bar with a dress cut too low. She smiles at each stranger that happens to walk in. For tonight she's gonna be another cheating wife again. And she's crying out, oh Lord, please don't let him know the one that he's married to could ever sink so low. She's tried and she's tried to put it to an end, but tonight she's gonna be another cheating wife again. She puts on her bowling shirt, gets her shoes and ball, hugs all the children as she walks down the hall. She smiles at her husband with a kiss and a grin, but tonight she knows that she will be a cheating wife again. And she cried out, oh Lord, please don't let him know the one that he's married to ever sink so low. She's tried and she's tried to put it to an end, but tonight she knows that she will be a cheating wife again. Yes, tonight she knows that she will be a cheating wife again.
Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shining afar through shadows dim, giving the light to those who long have gone, and guiding the wise men on their way unto the place where Jesus lay. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on. Oh, beautiful star, beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine upon us until the glory dawn. Oh, give us thy light to light the way into the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine beautiful star, the hope of rest for the redeemed, the good and blessed. Yonder in glory when the crown is won. For Jesus is now that star divine, brighter and brighter he will shine. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on. Oh, beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine upon us until the glory dawn. Oh, give us thy light to light the way into the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on. Give us the light to light the way into the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on, shine on, shine
We're gonna try to do a John Prine song for you now. It's one that we've been doing for years. It's a matter of fact, it's the only John Prine song that we know, and because he doesn't know any of ours, so you know. So anyway, we'll try. You all set to go there, Mr. Connell? All right.
I'm so ready.
This one is called Paradise.
I was a child, my family would traveled into western Kentucky where my parents were born. There's a backwoods old town that's often remembered, so many times that my memories are worn.
Oh, Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay? I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is hauling away.
Sometimes we travel right down the Green River to the bandit old prison down by Adria Hill, where the air smelled like snakes. We'd shoot with our pistols, but empty pop bottles was all that we killed.
Oh, Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay? I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is hauling away.
Then the coal company came with the world's largest shovel. They tortured the timber and stripped all the land. They dug for their crop till the land was forsaken, and they wrote it all down as the progress of man.
Well, Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River where paradise lay?